our final guest of the evening. He is Combates America's featherweight, 11-2, Andres the Bullet. Is that Quintana? Is that how you pronounce it?
Quintana, yeah. Pretty close.
Quintana. So almost like a katana, but with a Q.
Yeah, exactly. Quintana.
All right, so you're coming off a decision victory over Erick Sanchez back on February 16th, slated to return back to action on the 30th against Levy Saul. Wow, that's a nameful there.
Marroquin Salazar.
Levy Saul Marroquin.
Marroquin. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. You got it.
Hey, what's up with your opponent, man? You know anything on your opponent? What's the word?
Yeah, I mean he's a tough guy. He's a younger kid, 21, I believe. He actually came up and trained with us a little bit, a year or two ago. I can't quite remember, but he brought him and a few fellow Mexicans came up, and they had like a little mini camp at our gym, and so I got to know them fairly well. They're all cool people, and I just feel like their ground's lacking a little, so we might have to exploit that. A lot of things can change in a year or two, but I don't think much has.
Hey man, it's a good thing where you get one of those opportunities to kind of see your opponent in the training room, prior to getting a fight situated. I think that's kind of a unique advantage. We're literally just talking with we literally just seen a post from Leslie Smith not even a few days ago saying that if you were getting ready warming up for a fight and you see your opponent's coaches in there, probably be a problem. You're getting ready to work on things and stuff like that. But it's kind of a different situation where prior to a fight getting lined up, you have your opponent, come down and train either with you or with other teammates of yours, and you kind of get a look like what he looks like in the training room. I think it's kind of a unique look where maybe he has grown since then, but you actually get to see what he looks like in live situations outside of fight tape. I think that's kind of an invaluable situation. Doesn't happen quite often. So yeah, I think that puts you. I think it puts both of you in a better spot because I think you both kind of get a feel with. So where you get that awkward moment at the beginning of fights sometimes where you're trying to figure the guy out and what you're trying to do, you might not have that considering you guys have a little bit of intimate knowledge of what one another does.
Right. Yeah, I know he's gonna come out strong. So we're prepared for it. We're always prepared. We're always ready for anything that our opponent brings.
Yeah, Andres, man, you started when you were 19 years old, right? Was it around that time?
I was pro at 19. Yeah, I started.
You were pro?
My first boxing match was 12 years old.
Okay, what made you want to get into boxing? What's putting you in that direction?
I just don't like team sports too much. I played football when I was younger, a kid still. So, you could do everything perfect on your side of the ball, and your team could still lose, and it wouldn't be your fault. So.
I think that's the whole situation with what's his name, the Sherman over there at the Seahawks when Russell Wilson threw that pick on the 1 yard line in the Super Bowl. So
Yep, exactly. Yeah. I agree. So I just, take it in my own hands. I just like to keep it in my own hands.
Yeah, and you transitioned was it a smooth transition from boxing to MMA? When did you start the transition over?
It was actually a little rough just because, I was doing amateur boxing. I had bigger boxing gloves. I never fought with, the 4-ounce gloves before, so I had a little bit rough transition in the striking part. Just learning the difference between the MMA gloves and the boxing gloves. I wasn't as safe as I was behind boxing gloves. So
yeah, it's like did you use 16-ounce or 14?
I believe that we were using 14-ounce at the time. It's
like tell the layman, just tell the viewers out there or the listeners what's the biggest difference in using those gloves? You think that you use the heavier gloves that you'd have quicker hands, but it's totally different defensively, huh?
Yeah, defensively, that's the biggest part. Those little gloves sneak in anywhere, right behind. You could have your hands up and they could sneak in right behind your ear. So that's the biggest part. Being more elusive than being in a shell, like in a boxing shell.
Yeah.
Now I got since you have the boxing background, with the announcement of the McGregor-Mayweather match. I mean, what are your thoughts on
Yeah.
that? We were just talking to Tony about it. It's kind of been the biggest story in combat sports, over the last year or so. It looks like it's finally coming to fruition. We know it's at 154 pounds, so he's not going to try to drain Conor down to 44. They're going to be using 10-ounce gloves, which I think is even probably the bigger story that not a lot of people are talking about, is that they're using 10-ounce gloves.
Yeah, I was surprised about that. I'd expect people to be complaining about that because, normally you fight with 8-ounce gloves. But I feel like Floyd has everything in his favor, even though he's a little bit older. But, I mean, he's an expert. He's a masterful defensive fighter, I don't really see Conor being able to hit him, being able to have the proper footwork to cut off the ring and, corner him like a lot of these other boxers would be able to do. So I good for Conor, he's going to get paid very well. But I don't really give him a chance in winning.
I think a lot of people feel that way. I mean, betting wise, I think it looks like a lot of people are still think Conor's going to shock the world. I'm with you. There's something like we're literally just talking about the same thing. Is that we got to the point where he's been doing this for so long, and he is the best defensive boxer in probably of all time. He gets hit much less than any other champion, even at his weight class and even up. It's ridiculous. So, but the other side of that is that he notoriously has issues with southpaws. Conor is a southpaw.
Yeah.
But I was bringing it back to the point where there's a lot of variables that you can go on. Yes, he's a southpaw, but it's not like he has a traditional stance when it comes to even mixed martial arts. He has that wide open karate stance. He's not going to be able to do that against Floyd Mayweather. The big thing that he was big about, it made him so tough in MMA, is the kicks. He's not going to be able to use that. He's going to have a 2-inch reach advantage against the best offensive boxer that we've ever seen. So it's a fun fight for the fans, but to be honest, I think we have to agree that once this is over, at least for some of the fighters who fight in the weight classes that Conor belongs to, that they'll be glad to some normalcy coming back to the MMA side of things.
Yeah, I agree on that. But touching back on Floyd, I believe he's not going to get hit just because he has everything in favor. Even the gloves. He even wants bigger gloves. And I'm sure he's not concerned about Conor's power, so that's probably why he asked for 10-ounce gloves. So he's a smart man, He ain't gonna come out of retirement just for anyone. And I feel like this is a safe bet for him to make some quick and a lot of cash.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not knocking him for taking the opportunity and having it happen. I just think it's one of these things where it doesn't do anything for the sport. I mean, for Conor McGregor, the brand, it's great for him. It is.
Yeah, I agree. It's a win-win for Conor. It really is. He's a genius.
He'll get more money out of this fight than he's probably out of his last 4.
Yep, I'd have to agree.
And
people think that boxing and MMA are pretty similar, but it's not. They're two totally different sports. It's like having a tennis player go and pick up a golf club and expect them to be, professional and expert and compete at the top level. It's completely different.
It's rough, man.
So why is this? So Andres, Why is this got to be sanctioned then? I know it's like it's kind of like a sideshow. It's something that is spectacle that everybody wants to see. But in the reality of a situation, has Conor boxed? Does he have a boxing record?
I believe he's 0-0 as a professional boxer.
Okay, so how the hell is this getting sanctioned? Because you look at guys.
We all know how this got sanctioned. Come on, Brad.
Well, we do,
money.
but
it's all
money.
About the money. It's all about the money.
Well, we
were
about the money, but
we were just talking about it on the other aspect,
just,
Brad. We're like, how did Tim Hegg fight get sanctioned? He had a 60-day medical suspension. How did he wind up in a ring? It's all about the money, dude.
But now somebody else is going to do that, and somebody might get severely hurt because it's going to happen again, but it might not be on the same type of stage. But if they're like, hey, well, this guy could do it, why the hell can't I do it? Or this other guy can do it. I don't know if it's a good thing. We're going to find out if it's going to be a good thing. I totally agree with you, Bullet. I don't think Mayweather's going to get touched. It's a sweet fight.
Oh, yeah, we even
he's a
we
master
were just talking with
punches.
Tony. We were just talking with Tony. He basically said he'd be surprised if Conor lands anywhere near 9 shots around.
Yeah.
He'd be surprised if he landed that many. That's just how good Floyd is. I mean, all it takes is one punch at the end of the day. It's a fight at the end of the day, and Conor's in there with limited tools. It might be an embarrassing night for him. We don't know. We have to see what happens when they all get in there. But no one thought Buster Douglas stood a chance against Mike Tyson, and we all see what happened there.
Look at James Toney and Randy Couture. Look at that.
Exactly.
When James Toney came into the cage, he got pumped.
Listen, that was different. Everyone knew that Randy was going for that shot immediately, and he got it. He went right for that ankle pick and nailed him, and got him.
It's really not different.
Put him away.
It's not. You're fighting a guy in his territory.
It would be the same way if you put Floyd in an MMA cage.
Well, no shit.
Instead of an.
Yeah, that's exactly why Floyd's a smart man, and he stays where he belongs.
Oh yeah, he's smart enough to know I'm going to stay in my lane. I seen what happened to Tony, man. I'm not having that happen to me. That's not happening.
Yeah, at the end of the day, Floyd has a lifetime full of boxing, and Conor doesn't.
So, do you think after this fight he should be defending his belt?
Yeah, he needs to. He's holding up the whole division.
I think that's the biggest thing because, all this nonsense put off the side. I mean, the biggest knock that even I put on him is that, the guy has won multiple titles in 2 different weight classes in multiple promotions, but also you have to remember that he hasn't defended a single one. Granted, he vacated and left Cage Warriors to come to the UFC. And here we are again. He's had to vacate featherweight because he's moved up to lightweight. And, the argument could be made that he could be either his title could be interned out and or stripped because it's almost closing in on a year since he won that title. He's going to be fighting in 2 months. So what's that? They're going to be August? It's almost possible that we can go over a full calendar year without that lightweight title being defended. So, I mean, that's the biggest knock on him right now is, yes, he is a gifted athlete. He's a tremendous draw for the sport. Could be one of the best, but he hasn't defended the title, and a lot of people kind of feel that you're not really truly a champion until you defend that title. A lot of guys have won the title before and never had a chance to defend it. I mentioned Forrest Griffin not too long ago. Rashad Evans is another one. Lyoto Machida. A lot of these guys who were considered, the best in their weight class have never had a chance to defend their belts. I think if he doesn't defend it, and there's a good chance he doesn't. Who knows? If he makes enough money off this fight, we could just see him walk away. He has other opportunities outside of just throwing his hands. People also tend to forget he turned down a role in the recent Triple X movie that they gave to Michael Bisping because he wanted the second fight with Diaz. He has other
opportunities. Oh, wow, I didn't know that.
Outside of MMA, so we don't know what's going to happen when he moves forward. We could all be talking about him defending the belt, where he could just vacate, retire, and walk away from the sport. Probably one of the richest guys to ever step inside the octagon.
Yeah, I read an article that he claims that after the Floyd fight that he's going to come back and defend the title before the end of this year.
Yeah, he told Dana that after this fight he wants. I think he wants on that pay-per-view right before right before Christmas. And if he does, hopefully we get to see the fight with him and Tony Ferguson. I think would be an interesting fight, a really interesting fight. I think it's a more dangerous fight than a lot of people are willing to admit. I think Tony is so dangerous in so many different areas, and is not like anybody Conor has stepped in there with. He may be able to crack Tony, but Tony's one of these guys that you're going to need more than just a handful of shots to put him away. And not just that, when he gets on his back, he is dangerous. We've seen him get submitted by Nate Diaz, when he was in a dominant position. So we already know what can happen. Anything can happen when that fight goes to the ground, and I think people are underestimating Tony Ferguson. So I really do want to see that fight if and when he does come back. That's the fight I want to see. I don't know what UFC has plans for or whatever, but it's one that really has my attention past this. I mean, basically, you could call this fight a glorified celebrity boxing match. It's the simple fact of the disparity in records alone.
It's like Rocky versus Hulk Hogan in that Rocky whatever.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was a celebrity wrestling match, but still, at the end of the day, I mean, you have to consider it along those lines. Just the simple fact that he has no experience inside of a boxing ring, where this guy has a world full, a lifetime full of knowledge and experience. On paper, it's stacked the other way, but, I know a lot of people don't really care for Floyd or hoping that Conor McGregor's the guy to do it. Well, you had so many boxers who were, a lot of people felt superior to Floyd, and Floyd was able to prove them wrong. So I don't want to dwell on it too much longer. I just wanted to kind of touch on it.
Hey, Steve, let me ask you, Andre, Bullet, real quick, man. I went on your Twitter feed, right? So it looks like you got some Final Fantasy going on over there. You like playing some games? Yeah, man. What's your favorite? What's your console of choice?
PS4.
The PS4. What's your favorite game besides Final Fantasy?
I'm not sure. I like GTA a lot, but mostly I play Final Fantasy 14 online. Yeah.
How is that game, real quick? I don't mean to. I want to talk about fights, but I like gaming though. So.
It's really good. It's a MMO, kind of like World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
Better, I think, a lot better. With the Final
you gotta
Fantasy
watch out so you don't get sucked into it, because you got so much training to do. You're probably like, oh, dude, I gotta put this down.
yeah, of course. I'm real disciplined. I don't really play too much in training camp.
Yeah. And you're a young guy too. You're 25 years old, huh?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so the sky's the limit. So what's the next step? You fight this fight. When you win this fight, what doors do you expect to open?
I know I'm the top prospect now. I beat their top guy, so that makes me number one. So everyone's been gunning for me, and I'm ready to take on whoever they put in front of me. Like I told them before, I've known Levy. He's kind of my friend, but they put him in front of me. He's on the chopping block. He's the next one. Yep. So I'm the face of their promotion. I'm the best fighter that they got. So they should give me a title shot next, honestly.
Now here's the thing. I was talking about this with Richard. Obviously, you feel you're one of the better featherweights that are not signed by the UFC. Me and Brad were talking about it. Kind of, it's starting to look like tough has kind of run its course. Dana White is doing this, looking for a fight. Now they're also doing like a Challenger Series type show where they're bringing in a lot of guys from other promotions, champions from other promotions, to kind of get a fresh look in front of Dana White there. Is that something that moving forward you'd be interested in doing, getting another another fight in front of Dana White to kind of show, where you're at now compared to the last time he's seen you?
Yeah, that'd be nice, but the big thing is money talks. I'm a prize fighter. The prize comes first. So wherever they're gonna pay me the most is where I'm gonna go, whether that be with Combate, UFC, or even another organization. But for now, I am signed to a 5-fight deal, a year and a half with Combate. So for now, Combate is my home, and they've treated me very well, and they've given me nothing but respect. And when my contract expires or I finish out all my fights, then we'll talk and we'll see where they're at with that pay, because I'm sure I'm not going to lose to anyone here.
Hey, well, I mean, I looked up and down the roster. I don't really see anyone that really poses an imminent threat to you. I mean, your record kind of speaks for itself. You're one of the best fighters, even featherweights down there in the southwest part of our country here. So looking forward to hopefully seeing you fight for that featherweight title here for Combates at some point. Campbell McLaren's been doing a lot of good things with Combates. I can't wait to see what else you guys are doing. I like what he's trying to do, but also there's situations where I don't think just the format works out 100% completely. Like we've seen what happened when the Mogwai went down. Lisa Ellis was pretty much ripped off the card because Cara was pretty much the draw on it. Wound up getting pulled out.
Yeah.
But I think at the end of the day, there's so many Latin American fighters that don't have opportunities for whatever reason. I just think it gives you guys a unique platform where you wouldn't have it anywhere else.
Yeah, I agree. I have to agree. And Mr. Campbell's a very, very smart man, so I know he's going to get stuff figured out and he's going to get it done.
It's funny. I thought it was funny when I was looking up your name when I was initially when I initially booked the interview with Ed, and the funny part was is there was another name that popped up. A Spanish missionary who labored in the mission in Santa Cruz in California was one of the names that popped up on Wikipedia.
Really?
Name in there. I thought it was. Yeah, I thought it was kind of. I was like, wait, that's weird. I'm looking at the bullets and stuff like that. But then you look at Wikipedia, and there was multiple Wikipedia accounts, and that was one of them. I'm like, wait, okay. I mean, if that's what
yeah, that's interesting. That's news to me.
Yeah, it's funny when you get to that point where people are kind of Googling your name for whatever reason, and you see other people who have the same name, like early on in the early days of this world, where you guys have to have the same spellings, and see that hey, there's another Wikipedia account with it may not be the exact, but it's kind of cool.
Yeah, it is. Did you guys catch the Andre Berto fight last night?
Yeah,
Andre
man,
Ward, I'm sorry.
Yeah, the Ward Kovalev fight. I mean, how in this day and age we allow a fight to end like that? Regardless, we have instant replay, we have all these camera angles. How when there's even a question that a ringside judge or referee can say, hey, wait a minute, that wasn't a clean shot. We got to restart this fight. We've seen so many times. You've seen Big John McCarthy basically say that there should be somebody from the athletic commission, whatever, looking at a screen to make sure that there isn't an illegal foul or something to that effect that stops a fight where it shouldn't be stopped, where a fighter should be giving time to recover. I just think at this day and age, there's no reason why a fight should end in a TKO from an illegal blow.
Even though I feel like Ward would have got the win regardless, they should still give him a fighting chance, because I've been on the same side of the fight game like that, and it's horrible, I got kicked with a real good body shot, and I shot in on a single, and then I got hammer fisted, multiple times behind my head, and I thought the ref was going to stop the fight to give him a warning for strikes behind the head, but he calls the fight, So I feel for the guy.
Yeah, it's one of those things and that is such a thing that is so. It's really up to the referee sometimes, because I've seen parts where they say it's kind of like an invisible line from the back of the head straight down, but then I've also seen where times where you guys kind of get hit in that right where the back of the neck and the head meet, and that gets called where maybe it shouldn't be, because the guy's kind of doing what he can to turn in almost to try to make it like an illegal blow to protect himself, to keep him alive in the fight. So it's kind of, I really think it kind of boils down to the referee's discretion, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, it does, and the referees have a lot of influence on the fighter's career,
Yeah, it's one of the things that I talk about consistently. Like you go on social media and you see a fight like that, and regardless if we're talking about MMA or boxing, whatever, is that I think a lot of times when we talk about MMA, a lot of these guys are rollover from boxing, and they don't have 100% of the knowledge that they need to know when it comes to the ground game. Where you see a guy, he's in full mount, but the guy on bottom's kind of just bear hugging to try to hold their way to get a stand up, but the other guy's kind of doing what he can to improve the position and continue to work, and they get standing up, where probably should have been given more time to work, or guys in side control, working on a crucifix so he can go and do something else, and they get stood up. A lot of times you see inexperienced referees get caught in those situations where I just think that a lot of fans like to complain and moan and about it, and they don't do anything about it. They where you can call up your local athletic commission, go and take a class, and probably within 6 months you could be a certified referee or judge. I think it's kind of it's one of these things. I think that fans claim they care so much about the sport. Well, then get off your butt and do something about it. It's different in every state, because in Pennsylvania you either have to have been an ex-fighter or have trained for more than 4 years before they can even consider you to be a referee or judge. That's just in Pennsylvania. Me and Brad were talking about this earlier. Each commission and sanctioning body are a little bit different. So what applies here in PA might be different. I think that if you're going to be a referee or judge, you have to have some experience. Not just in boxing, though. I think that's one of the things that kind of gets overvalued when we're talking about mixed martial art judges. Because Cecil Peoples is an MMA judge, and he has never been involved in MMA outside of when finally they got when the UFC finally got sanctioned. He was kind of thrown into it. He may have more of a grasp on it now, but when he first came into it, he was strictly a boxing guy and probably had absolutely no clue what was going on when it went to the ground. That I have a problem with.
Yeah, and I completely agree. I feel like you need to be well educated and participate in the sport as well. It's completely different whenever you're watching compared to how it feels you actually being in there.
It's one of these rough things that I think it's something that not just us, but everyone can debate on. I'm going to continually say that you guys think that being a referee or judge is so easy. Go down to your local athletic commission and figure it out for yourself.
Go be an umpire. Be an umpire. And none of that's easy.
But like I said, it's the most thankless job in all of sports. The referee, the judge, whatever. We complain about hockey. We complain about football, baseball, basketball, hockey, how judging is in that. That's even before we get to combat sports where people's well-beings are on their lives. Their financial gains moving forward is held together by three persons cage side judging it, and the guy inside the ring making sure everybody's safe. There's so many different variables when it comes to combat sports that I think that, at least in my opinion, refereeing judges should be held to a higher standard. at least in my opinion.
Yep. And also, I believe that they need instant replay.
Yeah, definitely.
It's with all that goes on in combat sports, instant replay should be a given. If there's anything that should be questionable, you should be given a chance to either the ringside official or even the referee itself is given at least 2 minutes to kind of look over the final moments of the fight to see if there was a foul or something they missed or something where maybe he wasn't out of it, but you can see he still had not a flash knockout type of thing, but if you're caught, like if you're this guy is on your backside control, raining down punches from the side where they might stop it where you're literally like on your way up and they're stopping the fight. It's like, hey, I was getting up. What are you doing?
Yeah. And
like give him like a five count or something.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know about if having counts in MMA is really something that's viable, but I just think there has to be other protocols that could be done to kind of rectify some of these gray areas.
Yeah, it does need to be addressed.
The cornermen need to have a red flag, and they can throw it in for instant replay.
Well, no, you go and look at the corner can throw in the instant replay flag. I like that one. But then we even go and look at. I just think yellow cards need to be instituted because we even seen it with the Singapore card where both Holly Holm and Betch Correia were giving warnings for being timid. It's like take points at that point in time from both of them. I just don't. There's a lot of things. This sport is still so young that there's a lot of things moving forward that can be improved in all different areas, from refereeing to judging, from sanctioning. The sport is just so young where there's a lot of things that need to improve before they're really given that top sport billing. I listen to sports talk radio here in Philadelphia, and one of the DJs or VJs, whatever you want to call them these days, or he is absolutely dismissive of MMA. They were talking about the star in the sport, so to speak, and somebody had emailed him about Conor McGregor, and then the guy just started going off. He's like, listen, I don't pay any attention to MMA. When they were talking about Cleveland, LeBron bringing the first title of Cleveland, someone called and mentioned something about Stipe. He's like, who's that?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what you're talking about. So where I think we've come so far as a sport, there's still the big push that the sport still needs to really truly become mainstream.
It's still so young, though.
It's unfortunate that some people feel that way, considering how much the UFC was just sold for. But you can't just go by just that. It still has a little ways to go. But go ahead.
Yeah, years ago, we weren't even able to fight in more than half the states, in the U.S. So we're in a good position, I think, right now.
I agree that the sport is in a good position moving forward. I think having Bellator and these other promotions really making a big push in how much that they promote their brands as well, I think is also a good thing for the sport. So, moving forward, I'm glad the direction that MMA is going. It just needs a little bit more stuff. Like we're still having these situations like what just happened with Tim Hague, regardless if it was a boxing match or not. These are things that need to be addressed, and that cannot happen if this sport wants to continue to grow.
Right.
But we're really looking forward to seeing what the future holds, not just for MMA, but what you got here coming up here on the 30th. You got this big fight. Hopefully, you get the big title fight following it, and we'll see what the future holds. But I do agree with you with one thing. I don't think everyone should just go after opportunity just for the sake of opportunity. If you have an opportunity to fight for the UFC, but the contract isn't what you think it is, like you said, man, you guys are prize fighters. You're fighting for money, putting your well-being on the line. You should go where you feel you're valued, not just being just another guy on a roster, you know?
Yeah, the UFC is not the only big dog around anymore.
It's a big thing, and you know, I'm really looking forward to how that aspect of the sport is thought about moving forward. Not just from the fans' perspective, but even the fighters too. But as we get ready to close things up, what we typically do is kind of throw the proverbial microphone over you. Anyone you would like to thank, you know, training partners, teammates, shoot out your social media sites, any sponsors you might have, charities you're working with, websites, anything like that. The time is yours, my friend.
All right. You know, so I'd like to thank all my coaches. Chris Luttrell, my head coach. Of course, my striking coach, Ray Yee, and my boxing coach, Sergio. And then my sponsors, big shout out to Bad Boy. They hooked me up this fight. My good friend, Scott Parker from Texas. Mile to Wild, Eric Koss. You know, there's just so many people that have helped me. You know, of course, my family, all my friends, everyone that's been supportive of my career. The Cho Yi MMA family, you know, everyone that's helped me train for all my fights. You know, there's just so many people, and I don't want to forget any of you, but I can't name every single one. But thank you all, and you guys can follow me on Twitter at @thebullet_MMA. So you guys will get a kick out of my tweets. You should enjoy them.
Definitely agree, guys. You know, follow this kid now before he winds up blowing up over the next few years. You know, 11-2 record is nothing to laugh about. You have some great opportunities in the future ahead of you, man. Hopefully you do your thing on the 30th, as we say to all our guests. You know, wish you the best of skill, and more importantly, hopefully you and your opponent get out of their injury free.
Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you for having me as well.
And Bullet, don't let anybody run your social media account when you make it big.
Promise. I'll keep it. I'll keep it 100.
Thank you.
Well, I think that's more important, especially when it comes to the fans these days. You see a lot of fighters. They let their management teams or, you know, other people run their social media accounts, and it doesn't always end good. So
Sabers and Cyborgs are run by the same person.
Yeah, real bland too.
Oh man. Well.
Yeah, you get all me.
Again, thank you for your time this night, brother. You know, best of skill again on the 30th, and thanks for your time. We're definitely looking forward to have you back on here again in the future, man.
Thank you, and you guys don't miss me on Azteca TV. I'll be live.
All right, brother.
No, we ain't gonna miss you, brother.
30th. All right, thank you guys.
Yes, sir.
Take care.